Hello YouTube. This video is to introduce my audience to several very interesting UFO observations made by Soviet Armed Forces personnel in a very unique period of history, the waning years of the totalitarian socialist regime that controlled my motherland. And while UFOs were eagerly studied in secret by military scientists in the Soviet Union, officially they did not really exist. Also, I want to make people around the world understand that UFOs and USOs, unidentified submersible objects, are really a global experience and phenomenon. Now, the source for the information in this video is a Ukrainian UFO site, Novosti Ufologi, whose researchers interviewed the former soldiers of the Soviet Army. And I urge you to look at my other videos. You'll find them in a number of playlists in this channel about the experiences of the Soviet Armed Forces and their research programs. I think you'll find it very interesting. Case number 1. It took place in the urban settlement Goncharovska in the Chernihiv region in the USSR, Soviet Socialist Republic of Ukraine. Description: Tank Regiment number 300, regional training ground. The serviceman involved Private Badri Karosanidze. During his service in the period of 1982 to 1984 at the military unit number 64517 in the urban settlement Goncharovska. Private Karosanidze was a tank gunner. Later, he became commander of a tank brigade. In the summer of 1983, there was an evening checkup at the military unit. Between the hours of 20:15 to 20:45, on the horizon appeared something cigar-shaped like a rocket, silently moving horizontally. A dark-colored object of at least 3 meters flew from left to right at an altitude of about 30 meters above the forest. Behind the cigar was a small multicolored nozzle. The next morning, Badri found out that the radars of the radar station of the nearby air defense unit did not record this object, although there was an evening verification and everybody observed what he and his colleagues had seen. A colonel flew in from the army headquarters by a helicopter and selectively called the soldiers to the regimental headquarters to draw for him the observed object. Case number 2. Location: Krasное Selo, Leningrad region, USSR. Serviceman Evgeny Anatolievich Leonov. Private. Description: 76 separate command and measurement complex of the Space Forces with interaction with the Mission Control Center, Communication Center eye socket, as well as electronic warfare for the electronic destruction, radio, electronic means of control, systems of troops and weapons, aviation and air defense of the enemy, with a change in the conditions, properties of the environment, of the propagation of radio waves. During the service in the period between 1987 and 1988, at the military unit number 14108 in Krasное Selo, Leonov monitored the quality of the transmitted signal, technical complex CPC control, to ensure the flights of artificial Earth satellites and automatic interplanetary stations, and also serviced the command and measurement complex Tamань base and radio telemetry stations Romashka, which provide control sessions for space objects or transmit alarms. In the summer of 1988, when pointing one of the two large 25-meter radio antennas in the direction of the passing satellites during the daytime, radio communication suddenly disappeared for 1 minute. According to Evgeny's colleagues in the service, they observed at that moment a disc-shaped object of turquoise glow hovering at the height of about 150 meters above the antenna. A minute later, the UFO retreated with a sharp start and radio communication resumed. At the moment of hovering, no radar stations registered the unidentified object, and the observed object was not recorded in any observation logs. Case number 3. Location: Akhtirka, Sumy region, Ukraine. Description: pontoon ferrying units, engineering and sapper brigades, and a military equipment basing range. UAZ vehicle, self-propelled rocket launchers, UR-77 Meteor, and diesel-electric tractors DET-250M2 with bulldozer soil ripping units, and also a communications platoon and the intelligence department. Soldier Private Makhtepov Omurbekovich Sherbekov from Kyrgyzstan. During the service in the period of 1982 to 1984 in the city of Akhtirka, Private Makhtepov was the driver of the military unit number 41440A0563. The tasks of Makhtepov included the transportation of the deputy commander of the unit, Oleg Alexeyevich Kharitonov. In the future, he was promoted to the rank of general in Moscow. So Makhtepov from time to time drove, after the end of their shift from 23 hours to 1 hour in the morning, he drove the deputy commander on a nightly hunt for wild boars and roe deer in coniferous forest 10 to 15 kilometers from the landfill. Well, in 1983, in autumn, once again, he went hunting with the commander, where they witnessed a large UFO flying over them. Since they were in a coniferous forest, pine sizes ranges from 10 to 15 meters, then the height of the span of the object was determined to be 20 meters and the diameter of about 150 to 200 meters. Visually, it seemed that it was flying so low that you could jump up and reach it with your hand. A dark spherical object with a small stem at the back was moving very slowly horizontally. The shape of the UFO in the night sky was determined thanks to the bright glowing white dimensions on the edges of the body and on the tail. After 5 minutes of observing the object with their mouths open, they returned to the car and, accelerating, arrived at the military unit. When the commander got into the car, he cursed, and said the Americans were flying to bomb Kharkov. After that, explanatory notes were taken from all the guards that night. Such are the cases I wanted to share with you today, and I will continue bringing more stories to you from the former Russian Empire, the Soviet Union, modern Russian Federation, and nearby countries like Ukraine, Belarus, and of course Central Asian countries. And I think you will like the materials I bring you. If you can support my research, please do so. To the links you will find in the description to this video. Please like my channel. Please subscribe to it. And I urge you to look at the playlists about Soviet military observations and research of UFOs. Thank you for your attention to my work.